Hello, 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 everyone. Gotta fix that up real quick. There we go. So welcome everybody. Wait a little bit. Go ahead and check and see what's going on. Check and chat. The Creative Genius, man, what's going on? Good to see you, good to see you. We are just about to get started. Victor Maestros, what's up? Thanks for joining. Got a couple things prepared. All right. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm okay. Let's see. All right, yeah, I got everything set up. So welcome everybody. Today, this is the first of an 8-part series where I go over how you can make your comic, of how you can get your comic from an idea on paper to in the market physically in people's hands. And really throughout all this, I'll just be going over really what I've learned and how I go about making comics at this point, and from start to end, just how I get everything put together, how I come up with ideas. I'll briefly touch on that, and just be going over a little bit on preparing your idea for the world to see. So this first one, as you can see in the title, is about coming up with a concept, a character, and the setting. So and I will just cover the concept phase briefly, because there are most people who are wanting to go and start a comic probably already have like an idea formed of what they want to do, or just like a kind of general concept. Sometimes they may not, but I'll go over that briefly, just for those who don't. Hey Coral, welcome in, welcome in. So I will bring up this first point. All right. Excuse me. So this first point, I'll be going over with this. Like I said, I'm just going to really be going over how I go about starting a comic. I come up with a lot of ideas and start up a lot of comics. So I'll just be going over the process that I've developed over years and how I go about putting these things together. So the first step is developing a concept. Like I said, I won't spend too long on the concept phase, but in general, an idea for your comic can come from multiple sources, such as a life experience you may have had, a dream you may have had. It could be inspiration from something that you enjoy, any kind of media you enjoy, like a game or a show or a book. Anything really. What your idea ends up as depends on what you want to see and what kind of story it is that you want to make. For me personally, I get inspired by a lot of media that I like, or notice a lack of something that I want to see personally. For example, with my new comic book that I had announced, Tough Luck Chuck, I love cartoons, especially classic and retro looking cartoons. It has a style that really appeals to me. However, there's not a lot of media that actually uses that look. Comics especially. Now, comics used to really use it. I'll turn off the music for now. But comics used to use it quite a lot, way back in earlier days, like the 80s, or maybe even earlier than that. That's something that you see a lot, but you don't now. Especially in comic books, there's a lot of superhero comics. So when I noticed that, since I love comics, I wanted to see that in there. So I looked through some of my biggest inspirations that I had to use the style, such as Disney's Italian Mickey Mouse comics, and Cuphead's comics and books, and of course the game itself. And I started developing an idea based around that concept that eventually came to me, which was a 4-leaf clover with bad luck. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Alright, but what I said, yeah. So that's how I came up with the concept for TLC. So yeah, first part is developing a concept for just an idea for the comic in general. After that, once you have a concept that you like, and like at this point down here, make sure it is something that you like. It's best to develop a concept based on something that you personally enjoy or have a passion about, instead of just trying to base it off something popular. Like, don't just try to come up with an idea maybe just to cash in on something. Like, not that that's necessarily bad, but you want something that is meaningful to you first. Like, make sure it's something that you actually really care about, so that you can stay dedicated to it. So once you have a concept that you like, the next step is taking some time to build on it and develop it enough until the idea is clear and concrete. So you want to get, like, at this point, you start kind of brainstorming around it, brainstorming, asking questions, just trying to build it up at this point to get a better idea of what this thing is supposed to be. At this point, I'll start designing and like writing ideas down about the character, and to like help get an idea of who he is and what he's like. And this can either go quickly or it can take a bit of time. Like, it can vary at this stage depending on, you know, just how quickly things come to you. Sometimes it can be fast, sometimes it can be pretty slow, and you just gotta chip away at it. And things also tend to change as you define your idea better as well. So don't be afraid to like adjust what you need to as you go, because anything can change at any point. Like in the early stage, definitely probably better not to get too attached to certain ideas. And if there's an idea you really like but something may not be working, like, just try to think of some alternatives or think of a different way you can put a spin on things if it's not hitting just right. But yeah, at this point, I would start designing the character. And you're saying design a character. Next point, your character should be easy for you to draw from multiple angles and multiple times. You want to make sure that this design is something that you will not struggle with, because you will be dealing with it a lot for the remainder of this whole comic. You might have to take the design back to the drawing board a couple times and rework it to really get something down that's streamlined and that can work for you, because the last thing you want to do is have a character that's tiresome or hard to draw and like gets you burned out on just dealing with them in general. So being able to draw your character from multiple angles is important. And as an example, I'll pull up some early stuff of Chuck. Just as an example, these were some really early stuff. Like, just as I got the concept down, I started drawing them. Because for me personally, sometimes the idea for me comes from just drawing out characters. So I like to get straight to making the character, because that helps me like visualize things more and just get a better idea for who the character is. So this was like probably one of the first drawings I did of Chuck, trying to get the design down. Let's see, and here's some other ones as well, some other early sketches that I made while I was still figuring them out. I can shrink these down a little bit. So yeah, these are also some early sketches as I was getting them down, and I already had pretty much the look that I wanted, but it was just getting the like smaller details done. Cause like looking at these, it's like, oh man. But it's really getting the smaller details down to make him like actually easy to draw, because at this point he was actually hard for me to draw. It's mainly because of the leaves on him. I made them way too big. And here's his old ref sheet, a turnaround that I made, and right here. So that's the ref sheet I made with the design I come up with at the moment. At the time, he would like look very sad. I was leaning on the he has bad luck, so he like looked sad all the time. He had the clovers. At one point he did have bandages, but I did actually remove those during this part, just because it was kind of cluttered up the design. So yeah, well, when I first designed him, I was really leaning into the sad look. Like, he always looks sad. he had bad luck. He wasn't like very happy and all that. And over time, I just wasn't too into that because like it was one, the petals were too big and made it hard to draw them from different angles and just draw them period because stuff would keep overlapping and getting in the way from being able to pose his body. Like see, even right here, I wasn't sure of how to like go up where to put his arms and everything, so it was just too big. So these pink ones actually, these pink sketches right here is when I actually started to change up his design. Because like this is how he was looking before, and then I was testing different things. Like the biggest change was making him look happy. Like no more sad, heavy eyelids, none of that. Like he actually looks happy. So it allows him to show a lot more emotion and not excuse me, and not feel like such a depressing character, because like yeah, that would just be sad. So it allowed me to expand on him more personality wise, as well as improve his design and just make it feel a lot better. And then that led to where his design is currently at, which is this massive rough sheet right here. So as I kept messing with his design, the biggest thing was making him easier to draw. So I greatly reduced the size of his petals. So just comparison right here. Look how huge that is. So yeah, I greatly reduced the size of his leaves or petals, whatever you want to call them. And that made him way easier to pose and not getting in the way of his shoulders or anything. And I, like I said, I made him actually look happy. And really that was the biggest thing, because his petals were massive and in the way. And yeah, a lot of this redesign had to do with those petals. And something I realized from making them flow better as well was making sure that they go in a certain direction. So like these notes say here, rules for how he looks, like overlapping in certain places, or the petals turning down or turning up in certain areas, just to make them flow better as a design. So lots of changes like that. I still kept like the eyelid color and everything. He doesn't look like that all the time anymore, but yeah, those are the main changes that I made. And I'm actually still making changes now. Like this current design, like I've changed this even further at this point, but that I'll get to showing a little later on, like probably after the comic releases. But I've shown a little bit of it actually already. I'll pull that up actually, because I have shown that off a bit. I hadn't made it official yet, but I have done a little bit of it. And I will, let's see, I'll pull up a little doodle of what I'm currently working around with his current design as well. So right here, him with another character from another comic I have going on right now. This is another big change. Like I further even simplified him even further, because I realized some details may not have been necessary, or it's just kind of clutters up the design, and just streamlining him even more. So like say final, I would just make his eyes completely black like a classic cartoon instead of having them colored. Change his shirt, simplify the little collar, get rid of the sweater line, get rid of the white period, and just simplifying him more. So when you're making a comic character, like you're going to be going through a lot of changes and adjusting as you go on. So like even with this character now, he's still changing, still growing. So yeah, don't be afraid to change up your design or anything like that, because you can always improve. And you know, even in production for like a show, stuff is changing and improving. So like a character may have changed greatly from a pilot, and they may change greatly just from the first season of the show. So like designs and stuff are always improving, so don't be afraid to change up and improve your character design for your comic. And I'll actually add that as a note. Don't be afraid to change and improve. Oops. Alright. So yeah, I think that covers that fairly well. So the next point I'll move on to is the setting, and I have to change up this a little bit. So the setting, number 3. So yes, the next part of getting your comic together is the setting. Change that up. And when it comes to the setting, this really depends on the idea that you have, just how much you're going to get into the setting. Like a fantasy or sci-fi type of setting could be really grand and detailed, or you could be going for a grounded approach to the story and have an urban setting. It's whatever kind of theme, genre, and purpose that you have in mind for your project that plays a big part in what you decide your setting should be, and really how in-depth you want to go with it. Because delving into a setting, you can go pretty into a lot of detail with that. If that's something that you want to do for a type of project. I know that's definitely something for fantasy projects as well, because there's a lot of ways you can build on that. Using Tough Luck Chuck as an example again, for that, I want the comic to be cartoony and simple and set in a modern time and episodic. So at most I would want like a couple of recurring locations, like important character's home, and a few locations which can be like easily adjusted for whatever a specific story needs to show. It's just like how in a cartoon a character may visit a new spot you only see once, or may visit a new part of town that wasn't there before. These kind of things can be added as the comic goes on. So your setting can be either simple or complicated. It all depends on what you're going for. So what kind of design that you want, and that can take some time to get together too. Like if you're really going for a more detailed story or have a fantasy setting where certain things are really important, or locations, then that's something that you should spend a decent amount of time on. I do have a kind of fantasy story myself that I spent a good while just writing a bunch of different details and things down. And some things really you don't have to add into the comic itself. Maybe some things are just for you to know that aren't even necessary to show in the comic. It's just lore or world building stuff that's just for you to be able to know how you want to set up certain things. So for the setting, I'd say it's pretty flexible in what you do. You just need to know what you want for your project, and what it is that you're wanting to show. So like you can start with getting the main locations together and all that. But depending on the comic you want, it's really going to depend on how complicated that part gets. But just starting off with knowing the type of story you have, the genre, will help you with figuring that out. So I'll link for the setting. Know what genre you're going with. Alright. So yeah, really, really honestly, really the setting is pretty simple to me. It really only gets complicated if you're going for something bigger, honestly. Alright. With that in mind, I believe, actually let me pull up an example of that. An example of some stuff I did for that specifically. And here's one piece. And this is the kitchen area in the comic. So for TLC, like I said, it's just a cartoony modern setting. And for like Chuck's home, I wanted him, his mom, to live in like the forest. So I made their house like literally in a tree, and really just built it as if it's like carved into a tree. And then this little kitchen section was as if it's like new, so everything inside doesn't look like it's been built into this tree. It's just a section added off on the side. I have to see if I can find that picture of the full thing. So let me pull that up. Alright, so yep, here it is. Here's the tree home. I guess you'd call it a tree house. It is a tree house. There we go. It's really big. So here's the tree house. So yeah, so I had just came up with something simple. It's literally just a home built into this hollowed out tree. So you have the front, and there's the kitchen area right here. It's just like kind of added on. But yeah, I was keeping it simple. It's cartoony, simple, and just making it make just enough sense to get the point across, and something that wouldn't be like too hard to render in a comic as well. Yeah, coming up with areas and setting can be fun. So it's just keeping these sort of things in mind. Alright, with that out of the way, what we're going to do now, since we got another 30 minutes left, what we'll do now is use these to make a concept, make a character, and come up with a quick setting. So we get to the fun part, which is coming up with a quick concept. So I think we'll go with something simple, cartoony. So let's see. The tree is the house. Yes, the tree is the yes, the tree is the house. It's built right inside here. There's more to it. I designed the living room and the upstairs and the bedroom, but yes, the tree is the house. That is the fun of making like unworking of just specific locations that you're gonna visit a lot, is getting to know it. It's pretty fun. Alright, so what we're gonna do first is come up with a concept, and since we're gonna do something simple, cartoony. I'm thinking of stuff like the Felix the Cat, old Felix the Cat comic strips. Just really simple kind of thing. So I work best with starting off designing a character. So let's see what we can come up with. And if you want to suggest an animal or anything, we can do that. So let's see, what about a horse? The character needs to be, it's cartoony, so it's going to be simple enough to draw. And since we're just trying to come up with the idea, I'll do something loose as well. So it could be a horse. Yeah, I always enjoy coming up with a character first, because sometimes I get the idea after coming up with the character. Like if it's a character and a design I really like, I try to start to develop it. And the more ideas that come, the more the concept gets fleshed out. So that can be the fun part of doing designs. Even just doing random designs, a story can come from them as well. So let's make, let's bring that here. Oh, even as I'm drawing now, I'm thinking like, okay, who is this horse? What does he do? What is he doing? And maybe he delivers things, like maybe he works for the mail, maybe he delivers special packages, maybe he's a delivery boy. Yeah, like it's these type of questions. It's like, okay, who is this character? What does this character do? These type of things that help you like flesh things out. Like especially if you like go in with a character first and don't have an idea yet, you're trying to figure out what you want from this character. So we're just gonna do something simple. A friendly looking horse guy. And I'll probably give him a nice little outfit afterwards. Yeah, friendly horse. Let's see, what else can we think of about him? Delivers mail. Is he good at delivering the mail? Maybe he's always encountering strange things while trying to deliver mail. And maybe even deliver stuff for a specific kind of thing, like maybe a farm or something. Because of course, horse and farms. Alright, so we got a basic look for this horse. And we'll make notes of makes deliveries let's say he makes deliveries for a farm. So this already gives us an idea for like who the character is and even the kind of setting that we might be going for. So it's a delivery horse and he makes the deliveries for a farm. So a farm is one of the settings, like does he live on the farm? Maybe he lives there. So you got a farm setting and he makes deliveries, could just be a normal town or anything. So we already have an idea of the type of settings that we can develop and choose. And we'll give him what sort of thing could a male horse wear? So like actually we'll draw him again. Now we know he's a delivery horse. So we can try to change some things based on that. So maybe we'll make him a bit taller. Maybe will he have a bag? What kind of outfit will he be wearing? So you can give him a nice hat. Maybe a little tuft of hair coming out of the hat. And room for his ears. And we can either have him with that kind of face or give him big old eyes, pupils. We'll keep this for now, I think. And maybe has like a symbol of the farm or something on his hat. The farm logo. And you can give him a little collar, I think. And maybe the farm is the mail place. Just getting ideas, like he delivers stuff for the farm, so like maybe the farm has its own post. Maybe they're delivering things to other farms or other farm animals. There's a lot of ways you can work it. So you gotta be friendly. Oh my gosh. And got a name for the horse too. Can name him Charlie. Charlie Horse. Lovely name. And I'm trying to remember what I've seen male people wear. Just keep it simple for now. And maybe he has the bag. No male carrying bag. So the comic could be Charlie Horse, and the shenanigans he experiences delivering mail for a farm to wacky customers or something like that, and just his experiences on the farm as well as his co-workers, his trials, the experiences trying to deliver things, stuff like that. And we can adjust this arm a little bit. And he needs his tail. And just even thinking more things about this guy, like just from looking at him, like I wonder, like, oh, maybe the farm is a little chaotic, and he tries his best to be super professional. Maybe the chaotic, kind of unprofessional ways of his fellow farm animals could frustrate him or just make things challenging for him. Maybe there's some things he needs to learn about chilling out. And maybe he can help things run a little smoother. Maybe it's about him appreciating his fellow co-workers and how they work. There's just a lot of things like that. That's how you just start asking those questions, and as you like, this is why I like working on the character first, because sometimes things just start to come as well. You just start asking different questions. Just start thinking about, okay, what kind of person is this? What kind of scenarios will we get into? Things like that. And and as you do that, of course, write down these ideas. And just make notes of this, because this is stuff you can look back on and you can change, adjust, just put a different spin on it. There might be a different direction you want to end up taking it, depending on what you think of with characters and how you think the concept could be expanded on. So we got a little Charlie horse right here. And you know, even with this design, there's definitely more ways you can render it. Go over it again, try some different things. Like even now I'm thinking, okay, I put them in a little male uniform, but would the farm have a specific uniform? Like, would he have suspenders? Just indicate, like, you know, country and all that. Or would it be too much detail for a simple character like this? There's different stuff that you can just try out and test, you know. I see chat was loving the sketch. So thank you, Vector Maestros. And Harley said, I made it, what have I missed? Okay. We went over quite a lot, but I'll go back over everything by the end. Right now I'm going over like the points of developing a concept, designing a character, simple enough, designing a character that's easy for you to draw multiple times, and the type of setting that your comic will be in. So for Charlie Horse here, I started with the character, trying to design a character, and I just picked a horse. And as I was doing a little sketch right here, just started forming questions and just any ideas like, who is this horse? What does he do? See here, like, made a note, he makes deliveries for a farm. So I decided to do another take on his design, where he looks more like a mail carrier. And by doing that, we came up with the character and the setting and the concept, which I'll actually write down, and I'll type it out because that's easier. But Charlie Horse, mail, let's say delivery boy for that's a funny farm name, Saddle Acre Farms or Saddle Acre Post, something like that. Delivery boy for Saddle Acre Post. Just come up with a name just randomly, and with some other notes. He's let's say his environment on the farm is chaotic, but he likes to try and be professional. And what's the word I'm looking for? Professional. And let's just say professional and on time. Let's see. Which can be difficult with his chaotic co-workers. Let's say chaotic. Say co-workers are fellow farm animals. Let's just say co-workers. So we have the character and we have the concept, and honestly this alone is enough to start building on for a comic. Like alright, with this comic I said, I'll write that down too. Comic is inspired by, I mentioned the Felix the Cat comics and cartoon strips. And let's see, episodic cartoon comics. So we'll move this around. Alright, so comic is inspired by Felix the Cat cartoon strips and episodic cartoon comics. So this wouldn't be this wouldn't be like a big overarching story type of comic. So it'd be the way it is already is really easy. Just with the concept set, now you have multiple things to work with. You can come up with different scenarios just based on this alone. You can ask different questions that can pull up even more scenarios for you to work with, like just the farm environment. You can do multiple things on the farm setting. You can do multiple things with the different settings of him delivering, maybe him delivering to town, him delivering to other farms. This is the type of things you could see him doing. And we know it's going to be an episodic format. And even with that, you can shake that up a bit, because even with episodic type of comic strips, you can do you can do like little short stories, like a short 2-parter or 3-parter or 4-parter type stories for that. A storyline, you can do a brief storyline. It can be self-contained, or you can even carry things over from it into the main comic. There's a lot of things that you can do like that. So just this alone opens up a whole lot of different opportunities for things that you can do. And really, this is what it's like coming up with a comic concept. Like the bigger the concept, the more it might take to like get an idea nailed down, and the more you might have to work on things. And even right now, it's like nothing has to be set in stone. This is a base to work from, and a base easy enough to build on, to change. You haven't even come up with other characters yet, so that's a whole other thing that will help build up your comic, help build up the concept and different things for the character to encounter and experience and grow, and just different things that you can see him do, and different stories to explore. So this kind of thing helps really build on your concept. Let me fix that right there. There we go. Or actually, no, I'll leave it like that. But yeah, already that's a solid start for old Charlie Horse, Mr. Charlie Horse. And does he need any colors? Let me look at comments first, actually. Okay, the setting is probably your big one. And Harley, I've seen you come up with like big, cool settings for your comics. So honestly, you definitely have settings down. And Garfield and Friends. Hello, Mogami, and Basidi Gorilla Tag. Hello. But yeah, I've seen your settings, Harley. You definitely have that kind of thing nailed down. Honestly, at this point, but I can briefly go over the points again. I can bring it back up. So the first point is develop a concept. An idea can come from anywhere, and make sure it's something you like. Number 2, design the character. Character should be fairly easy for you to draw multiple times and from different angles. Don't be afraid to change or improve on design. And then the setting, which know what genre we're going with. And there's some other things you say about the setting, and nothing I can think on right now. But basically, for the setting, know what type of genre you're going with. That'll help to build it. Know what your goal is, and let me see. Yeah, it really depends on your idea. what your idea is, what your setting is, your character, and the setting can come first or the character can come first, either or. So it really depends on your idea and what you're wanting out of it. Like fantasy setting can go anywhere, sci-fi setting can go do a bunch of different things. So it's really up to you. So at this point, I'll say if anyone has questions, I know we're nearing the end. It's almost 7:30, but if anyone has questions at this point, shoot them away, fire them off. Mogami question: how would you make Chinese/Japanese traditional clothing look 50s, space age, Gucci, ray gun, gothic? For that is really research. Like research 50s clothing, research Japanese clothing. Really, yeah, research. Find any media that might have anything similar to what you're doing, similar to what you're looking for, and take inspiration of that as well. But yeah, like research that era's clothing and how it looks, and for like the fantasy stuff, research how they drew things for that era or even designed stuff for that era for fantasy type of things. So yeah, that type of stuff is definitely out there. So research is your best friend for that. Let's see if anyone else has more questions. What are my thoughts on typefaces? For typefaces, for that, it can be tough trying to find one that fits for your comic. But really, looking at different fonts and figuring out which one feels right for your comic, and even looking at other comics similar to like the genre, whatever you're doing, and seeing what type of fonts they use, and maybe trying to find something similar. Because that is tricky, trying to find a good font for your comic. Like for TLC, I try to find something that looked cartoony, comic strip like, and it's one that I've been using for a while now. But it can be tricky. It's just looking and testing different ones out and seeing what works. How to make drawing hands less stressful? Well, two things. One is practice and studying, really. Yeah, so studying hands is definitely going to help, because hands are like one of the toughest things to draw. But studying hands and studying how artists simplify them, and how they draw them, how they break them down, so that you're not just thinking of the hand as a whole, but knowing what shapes to build it with. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you won't even have to draw those building block shapes anymore, and that just takes a lot of time and practice and making sure that you're studying. Alright, let me know if you guys have any more questions before we head out. And you're welcome, Ogami. You're welcome, Mario Bro 4. And I apologize if there's long pauses. I gotta figure out how to cut down the pause between response to the chat. But if nobody has any more questions, then we will call it for the day. Hey, Nervous Bat. Yeah, we're coming in right at the end. A delay setting on OBS, yeah, I know I saw one before. I'll have to mess with it some more. But yeah, and Mario Bro or Mogami says a good tip is if drawing a rubber hose hand from the side, fingers and thumb close together, use an oval shape for the palm. There we go, some advice. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nervous Bat. We started at 6:30 and wrapping up at 7:30. But there will be more. There will be more. So do not fret. Next time I'll be going over the script, the writing phase, which can be a fun phase. So I'll be going into the script next phase or next stream. But for now, thank you guys for watching. We'll kick the music back on now. Maybe I'll keep it going next time. But thank you guys for watching. This has definitely been fun. Let's see. How do you say most difficult phase? Writing can be tough, but I'll go into what it is that I do. So look forward to that. But alright, yeah, we're going to call it for now, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching. I will be doing the next stream tomorrow. And keep an eye out. Same time, same place. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.